Hello and welcome to the Becker Private Equity and the Becker Business Podcast. My name is Chanel Bunger, and today I'm excited to speak with regular guest Liz Hutson, Principal Consultant and owner at EGH LLC, who joins us today to discuss the topic of the importance of buy-in during change. Liz, thank you as always for joining me. Can you get us started out by giving us an overview of this topic?
Absolutely, Chanel. Great to talk with you. So, as you mentioned, our organization, EGH, focuses on change, helping organizations work through, navigate change. And as a change specialist, one of the things that I find to bring the greatest value is what we're going to talk about today, and that is buy-in during change. I think a lot of times as a leadership organization or whoever's sort of up at the top of things runs the analysis for change, whether that is an acquisition, a sale, a consolidation of two facilities, a consolidation of two teams, whatever it might be. And we could see that it's perhaps a good financial or strategic idea, but now it's time to get the team on board to make that change happen. And one of the things that I find to be the biggest mistakes or obstacles when organizations try to do this is when they try to push their agenda through without consideration for where the team is at. And the team may not understand, they weren't part of the diligence process, so they don't understand why the change is happening. And because of that, because their mindset isn't there, they're not inclined to move full steam ahead. Meanwhile, leadership is like, chop, chop, let's go. We've got a thing to do and we've got time that we cannot waste, so let's get going. And so what I would say is it's so important to build that buy-in, and I have a few ideas on how to do that. So to combat losing the team right from the start, there's three areas to focus on. The first one is we want to meet the organization where they are. It seems so simple, but it's a profound thing. We want to take time and understand what they're thinking, how they're feeling about this proposed change. And if they're sad or angry, it's important to really acknowledge and validate that state of mind that they're in. Because if we bulldoze past it, they're not going to feel heard. They're not going to feel very interested. They'll probably dig their heels in fact. But I find that when people feel heard, they're much more likely to share what's going on. Why are they sad? Why are they angry about this? And they're much more likely to be open to having a conversation, considering a different perspective. And I think when we can paint that picture of the future state and get them excited about where we're going, if we can help them understand the why behind that, they're much more interested, they're much more likely to rally around the cause. So that's point number one, meet the organization where they are.
Got it, got it. Thank you for walking us through where to begin. And now that we have the starting point all figured out, where do we go from here?
Yeah. Second point on this is you want to gather insights from those stakeholders. So from all the different team members that are part of this, that have been doing things the way they've been doing it before, we want to gather the subject matter experts, the stakeholders, the team members, all of them, get their perspective on what they feel like is going well right now. We don't want to, in the process of change, we don't want to lose sight of what has made the organization uniquely good at what they do because of this change, right? How do we keep those bright spots? How do we highlight those bright spots, keep them going, but then navigate through and move forward? Those people will also be able to give you some insights on what are some of the watch outs, right? Perhaps some of the reasons they're feeling a little bit anxious about the change. But they're on the ground, right? They're the ones that are doing the work and they know the business really well. So getting those insights from them are actually going to help inform the best way to proceed. So that's number two. We gather the insight from the key stakeholders.
Okay, so we've met the organization where they are and gathered insights from key stakeholders. What's that last step that we're missing?
The last point is bringing that team together to build the future state path together. Because when the team helps with creating the future state, a few things happen. One, it's going to be built. That plan is going to be built knowing the pitfalls and knowing how to work around them. So it's a much more solid plan because the ones on the ground are the ones that can see it very clearly. They're going to help with creating that plan. The other thing is when the team helps with building that plan for the future state, they're much more excited about where they're going. And when their fingerprints are on the plan, they feel accountable for it, right? There's definitely going to be much more certainty and will be more confident about it. They're going to be much more bought in than if it's being forced upon them. The thing is it doesn't change where you're going, right? We still have that future state that has the financial analysis of the strategic value. We're not changing where we're going. We're not changing why we're going there. But when we bring the people in to the process of building that plan, it really helps inform the how we go there. And when you have that how nailed down with that team, you're going to be much more efficient. It's going to be a stronger path to get there, et cetera. So that point number 3 is building the future state together with the team.
Perfect. And now that we have all those points, why don't you bring it home and tell listeners anything else that they should know?
Absolutely. I think one of the things, the reason that organizations run to just get going and don't make the time at the front end of this is because it feels like it takes time, right? Like there's value to be had about the integration or the sale or the consolidation or whatever it might be. And it feels like, do we really want to make time for what feels a little, I don't know, like fluffy? And it's true, it does take a little bit longer at the start, but net, when you look at it over time, it actually saves time through the overall process. Not only does going this route help reduce the resistance of the organization to moving forward, it actually builds much stronger morale. And the team is much more convicted. They feel much more enthusiastic for the long haul. So not only does it help with the project that we're actively working on, but it actually helps with project number 2 and 3 and 10. They're much more excited about the organization and the culture and the feeling of belonging. So to me, that time that we spend at the front end is well worth the investment up front. And the dosing that we have it through is well worth it because it really makes for a much more strong, not only project, but organization overall.
Absolutely. Well, Liz, I want to thank you as always for joining me today and for sharing your insights on the Becker Business and Becker Private Equity podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great to talk with you.